Hello and welcome to Pinoy Podcast, your Pinoy podcast here in Canada. Just for introductions, my name is Alex Macale and I will be your host in this podcast, this Pinoy Podcast. My main purpose of creating this podcast, my main purpose to create this podcast is actually to tell a story about us Filipino dito sa Canada, yung ng mga Pilipino sa Canada, yung lifestyle, anong klase ng lifestyle meron dito sa Canada. At the same time, to add value for the betterment of our life ng mga Pilipino dito sa Canada. My plan for this podcast, yung in terms of content creation, my plan is to actually I really have a plan to create this podcast. Nakikisabay lang po tayo. But my goal is to gear this podcast towards entrepreneurship, yung konting mindset, of course, sometimes konting chismis, of course, Filipino po tayo. So yeah, yun po yung main content na I'm planning to create for this podcast. So I'm hoping that you guys can join me grow this podcast, and I'm looking forward to have you guys and join me on this podcast. So having said that, if you like what you're seeing on this podcast, all I ask you to do is to please click that subscribe notification button below, as this would help me motivate more in creating more Pinoy content podcasts in the future. Thank you so much and maraming po salamat. Thank you.